going on, Jerome? It's a beautiful Tuesday. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. He sees you when you're pooping. That's right. So the Vikings have one more game in November, the 11th month of the year. Vikings looking to go to 4-0. And so we put this out there on the community tab, and people got so mad. It's like, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Is what it is. A win, one game, and we will go from there. But the Vikings sweeping the NFC South, 3 straight wins in November against the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans. And now bring on the Bears at Soldier Field. Blah, blah, blah. Vikings don't play well at Soldier Field. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Go in there. 3rd division game. Whoop somebody's ass. And then just you're good. You're good to go. Also good to go in this beautiful month of November is our annual Thanksgiving food shelf fundraiser. So every dollar donated to the show, the rest of November will be sent to various Twin Cities food shelves, including our friends over at Every Meal. So super chats, when we do the live streams, Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals, whatever. Everything has its link in the description. Also, if you want to donate directly to Every Meal, that link is also in the description. Shoot us an email if you do. We'll include it in the total, and you guys are the best. You always crush it. So it's good to give back at this time of year, giving thanks. And also, I'm giving thanks for slinging Sam Darnold, right? So, yeah, we pissed him on against the Colts and the Jaguars when he was just giving away now. But you see the power of Kevin O'Connell, and you see the potential that made him the number 3 overall pick in 2018. And this is from Purple Persuasion. Vikings quarterback slinging Sam Darnold, a.k.a. America's quarterback, posted his best overall and passing PFF grades of his NFL career, 7 seasons, against the Titans on Sunday. Overall 90.8, passing 90.4. His previous best, blah, 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 blah. So, as we said, I don't think that the Vikings win without Sam Darnold. His mobility, his taking what was there, him spreading the wealth around, him dropping dimes. Plus, he should have had 2 extra touchdowns. The Jalen Naylor one stands out, but also the one where he it looked like he slightly overthrew Addison in the end zone. That's when Addison was dealing with cramps and wasn't able to go full speed. So that was 6 again. So it is what it is. Either way, Darnold's playing some high-level ball, and, probably is not going to be back next year because of J.J. McCarthy, but he's going to get paid. Yeah. Speaking of a quarterback that got paid because of the Vikings, Daniel Jones. Now, I don't want this, but it makes sense, and it fits the motif. So we put this out there. Kwesi loves a former first-round bust. Mama, I can change him. High draft pedigree means that they've already gone through screening process through several teams and was drafted high. Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer, and his only playoff loss is to Daniel Jones, who looked really good against the Donna Shell defense, right? And then also, he's going to get cut by the Giants. Do the Vikings sign him for a paltry amount to be J.J. McCarthy's backup? At a certain point, Kevin O'Connell has an ego. Like, everyone has the ego, right? Could he be like, for my next trick, we will do this? And it could make sense because Jones is not going to be handed a starting job. I don't even think that he's going to be signed to be a bridge quarterback with a first-round rookie quarterback. I just don't see that. And could Jones come in here, compete with Nick Mullins and Brett Rippon? He's got mobility. He does have an arm. Decision-making is spotty. Accuracy is spotty. But could that be fixed? Could Kevin O'Connell try to Darnold-sized Danny Dimes? I don't know. But from a tragic quarterback to a magic quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, this is great, man. Here are the top 8 teams in the league not taking into account quarterback and wide receivers, according to the way I look at the stats. So, I don't know. I feel like the passer and the pass catchers are kind of important. All will have the ability to make some noise in the playoffs because of their defense and the way they run the ball. But if the quarterback gets hot at the right time, look out. So, Vikings at 2. Behind the lines, you got the Steelers, Packers, Eagles, Chargers, 49ers, and Buffalo Bills. So, yeah, creme de la creme in that spot. But it's definitely the Vikings defense carrying the day because the running game, not so much at this moment in time. But hopefully they will certainly get things together very soon. Right? So, Fitzmagic believes. And say what you will about Darnold. Like Darnold is a quarterback that can certainly catch fire. And we said it before, like Darnold could go on a 2012 jumping Joe Flacco type of run where you just get hot for a playoff run and there's no stopping you. Certainly could be that. But speaking of that defense, this is great. So Alec Lewis, the Athletic. The Vikings defense has a 71.1% success rate against the design runs. No NFL defense has had a better figure than that since 2015, according to True Media Sports. Cannot overstate the job the interior defensive line group, Phillips, Bullard, Tillery, Redmond, Tyami, have done. And that they've been great. So the Vikings are number 1 in rushing yards allowed. They are number 3 in yards per carry allowed, and they've done some really good work. And that really is, that's like the old school thinking. Right? Stop the run, and then everything else works itself out. Because if you stop the early down runs, it's going to be 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and you have a better chance of success. You have a better chance of pinning your ears back and going and getting a sack or a turnover, and it makes all the sense in the world. And it's interesting because the D-line was a concern coming into the season, right? And they're still concerned because they can't generate their own pass rush. But, I mean, they're looking good. They're looking really damn good. So respect where it is due in that regard. Also, this is from Vikes Communication. With 2 sacks on the day, outside linebacker Pat Jones raised the season total to 8, and his is it 7? 8, whatever. And his career sack total of 12. The Vikings are the only team with 3 players with at least 7 sacks so far this season: Grenard, Jones, and Van Ginkel. It is 7. Vikings PR, come on, step it up. The Vikings have the trident of pass rushers with Van Ginkel, Grenard, and Pat Jones, as well as Pace and Cashman with 3 sacks apiece. Harrison Phillips, not known to be a pass rusher, but he's getting in there. Harrison, Redmond, Diamond Dallas Turner, as well as Hottie Ward, each have 1. Ward also is tied for the team lead in quarterback hits, which is kind of hilarious, seeing that he plays very few number of snaps. But overall, that's been the strength of the Vikings pass rush. And last year, love me some Daniil, 15.5 sacks. It's fantastic. But the Vikings pass rush this year is a lot more efficient. It's a lot more organic. And the more pressures that you can get, especially if you can get pressure without sending more than 4 rushers, I mean, that's the great equalizer, baby. And so the Vikings are getting it done in that regard. Also getting it done on defense. This is a defense show. I love it. Vikes Insider. Total points allowed through 11 weeks. Chargers at 145. They used to be a lot less, and then the Bengals scored a lot. But Chargers still won. Steelers at 162, as well as the Vikings at 170, Lions at 177, and then you got the Broncos at $183. So Vikings defense getting it done in all aspects. They lead the league in interceptions. They're number 1 in rushing yards allowed, and now in points allowed, they're number 3. So things are looking pretty good. Also looking pretty good. So in the 4th leg of no loss November, the Vikings are playing at Chicago against number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams, and there's a lot of things going on here. So Vikes fan page, crazy stat heading into week 12. The Bears have not thrown a touchdown in 4 straight games. Caleb Williams will face the Vikings for the first time in his career on Sunday. So all I hear is rookie quarterback, no passing touchdowns last 4 games. Wide receiver 1, DJ Moore, is sort of checked out. The offensive line is very poopy. So yum time. That's all I hear. That's all I know is yum time. That's it. And a big part of that defense is Andrew Van Ginkel, who should be Defensive Player of the Year. We made his case yesterday. This is fantastic. So his awesome wife, Sam Van Ginkel, when you think your outfit is cool, but your high school buddies show up like this. So a bunch of Andrew Van Ginkel's high school buddies from Rock Valley, Iowa, showing up rocking the 4-3s, as well as some blonde wigs looking like Vike Flair. Woo! Love it, man. I mean, this is awesome, too, because when a player makes the NFL, the family and friend group, they also make the NFL. And just sharing that experience. Now, sometimes that can be parasitic, where, I mean, the NFL player is paying for everyone's like bills and cars and phones and stuff like that. That's no bueno, right? But just the experience, like the childhood friends, the high school friends, heading to these games, going to Nashville, which is a super fun town, and then rocking the 4-3 where the Vikings win, woo, doing the Skol chant at various times throughout the game. It's fantastic, man. That's something that you absolutely do love about the game. Also, something I love is Justin Jefferson just gets it, man. Right. Jefferson, heart of gold, great family, as you saw from the Netflix documentary. And we don't bestow this honor often. Originally, this was for Everson Griffin, where we said that he would play for $10 and a ham sandwich. That's how much he just loves the game. That's Justin Jefferson. There's very few. But Doogie, Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson is a superstar on and off the field. Tonight, he surprised 3 kids from single-parent households with holiday gifts. And it is a season of giving. It is a season of being thankful and really helping out those a little less fortunate at this moment in time. And hopefully those kids, they see Jefferson's generosity. Hopefully they crush it in their own personal and professional endeavors, and hopefully they pay it forward. It's an absolutely great moment by Justin Jefferson here. Opposite of great moment. So we've tried to tone down calling out comments, right? Because generally we sort of skim them. We don't really read them anymore. Producer Allie kind of gets in them, though. All right, but this one just sort of stuck in my craw that I saw. Vikes again barely beat another awful team thanks in no small part to said team's many penalties. Well, there were habitual line steppers, all right, and one that shouldn't have been called. Maybe not helmet to helmet, but launching himself helmet first. I don't know. A few weeks ago, the Lions beat these guys 52-14. It all comes back to Lions. Lions derangement syndrome, LDR. Wait, no, that's already taken. LDS. No. The Vikings were lucky to beat last week, even without scoring a freaking touchdown. Were annihilated by Lions 52-6 today. There's a slight difference between how the Jaguars played the Vikings and then how they just mailed in that Lions game. Like, they were done. Like, they had some fight in them in the Vikings game, especially on defense, but they just quit. I harbor no illusions about this team going anywhere in the playoffs. I'm sick of hearing a win is a win. Well, what do you want? Me so sorry that in a rebuilding year where the Vikings are weathering $68 million in dead cap, where they have a bridge quarterback, where their first-round quarterback who they drafted to be the future of the franchise had a meniscus tear repair and missed the entire season, and there was injuries and tragedies with this team in the offseason, and they were sort of patched together ad hoc. And, well, what about Kwesi's 2022 draft? Whatever. Right, no factor. And guess what? The Vikings are 8-2. Guess what? The Vikings have beaten some good teams. The Vikings have beaten some bad teams. Have the Vikings blown out any team besides the Texans? Not really. But you see it every single week. All right, 1 through 32. Any team can beat any team on a given day. Right, and also, I'm sick of a win as a win. Okay, well, what about if the Vikings were able to get a first down and Addison ran the right route and Darnold didn't have to airmail that third down? The Vikings beat the Lions. How about that? Would that have been a feather in your cap? Or let's just boil it down to the simplest part. Say Jake Bates misses that field goal at the end. Nothing else changes. Literally nothing else about this team changes, but they get another win in the win column. All of a sudden, hey, does that change your view? All it takes is one play, like Jake Bates just shanking that kick. It changes nothing else that happened in that game. It doesn't change what this team is one iota, but now they're 9-1 to beat the Lions. Like, oh, you be thumping your chest, skull. Oh, come on, man. I feel like, yes, this team came in with lowered expectations, and with the way that the Vikings have operated so far, it's raised expectations, certainly. But also, I mean, just have fun with things, man. Like, I bet you this jabroni came into the year as like, oh, they'll be 6-11, 7-9, or 7-10 if they're lucky. If things go right, I hope I'm wrong. Whatever. Again, me so sigh that this team that is 8-2 isn't winning games by enough points. Me sigh, because you just watch the Panthers beat the Chiefs this upcoming Sunday, 11-point dogs, and they just go get it done. Because weird things happen in the National Football League, right? And you look at the rest of the schedule. Hey, if the Vikings go 15-2, but they win every single game by an average point differential of 1, 2, or 3, I do not care. Because guess what? This isn't the BCS. This isn't computer rankings that go by strength of schedule or impressiveness of win. A win is a win in the National Football League, and I think the Vikings have a chance to win out. So, and guess what? In the playoffs, you got the number one defense. You have Justin freaking Jefferson. You have an offensive line that's starting to figure things out. Maybe. You got Slinging Sam Darnold, who on a given day can look like a top 5 quarterback. I like those chances, especially in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year. So, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Be happy. Plus, next year, J.J. McCarthy's back. You got all that cap space to spend. And, ooh, baby, it's a wild world. Plus, people act like this is Madden. You can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden be bad, very good. It takes steps. You learn how to win. You learn how not to lose. Then you learn how to win big. And that's how it goes. So don't sweat it. Just enjoy the ride. Tranquillo. It's going to be fun, man. But that's it. Vikings news dump on this wonderful Tuesday. You guys are the best you know what to do. Skull production value.